Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number, let me check my notes, 83 of the Steel City Insider podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremy Ritz, alongside Mr. Jim Wexel. Jim, how are you this fine election day? November 7th.
I voted. You know, school board members are important too. We've got a lot of book banners here in Westmoreland County, PA. Book banners and, book banners.
Book banners.
Well,
So
you can't have that liberal agenda in the books, right?
you did your civic duty, Jim.
So I did my civic duty, right. And but today I have my Bobcat hat on. Do you know why?
I do not.
The year after Samantha graduated, they won their first MAC championship, Ohio U women's soccer, and they're going to play in the NCAA tournament at Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
Even though Samantha's not there anymore. And her departure probably had a lot to do with them winning it all. No. But I'm a Bobcat fan today.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely exciting. The fact that you voted and the fact that the Bobcats are on the tear. And it just so happens to be we had our Tomlin Tuesday, the press conference, a lot of interesting nuggets. And Jim, I got something in my shoe here. Kind of feels like a pebble. Sorry.
It's George Pickens.
George Pickens, a pebble in his shoe. A lot of I guess just madness over the weekend with George Pickens and his Instagram taking down Steelers photos. It was brought up to Tomlin today. I know that you just love social media and the Steelers, so let's start there. What did Tomlin have to say about this whole Pickens IG piece?
He kind of chastised the media for making it into reality TV, and that was to be expected. And he probably came in with that line planned. And he's not a big social media guy, although he did bench Martavius Bryant one time when he posted that he's better than Juju. He got personal with things. So it was a little different than what Pickens did. Pickens just unfollowed people. Pickens did what some of us do when we have snits on social media, unfollowed people. I don't know if he blocked anyone, but took down some posts, immaturity. Like we all have flares of immaturity. And, it's not a big deal, but it kind of is. My daughter is Pickens' age. And we went to a wedding, a family wedding in Colorado this past week, so we got a lot of time to talk. And she said that liking and following like a girl's rival who's cute or boyfriend, there's a lot of breaking up over simple matters. It's a real thing right now with the next generation that's grown up on this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a serious deal. So, we as old people can laugh at it and call it reality TV and snicker, but there's something to it. There's something out there. There's a lot of relationships being ruined because of it. And, it shouldn't ruin relationships on a team either. And so you have to be wary of that. I'm sure Mike Tomlin was wary, probably talked to him a little bit about it, but he's not going to magnify it in the media. No way.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, there was discussion in social media. I guess I partake in social media. Yes, I admit it here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on it. But
has your relationship stayed intact?
It has.
Oh, good. So yeah. You're not screwing up too bad, right?
No, I just read about the Steelers, but after Deontay Johnson scored his touchdown, there were pictures floating around of Pickens sulking on the bench. But what is it with Pittsburgh and these prima donna wide receivers that we can maybe liken him to Antonio Brown? Maybe we can't. But there wasn't.
I don't think it's Pittsburgh. It's just there's two guys now. And, Charlie Batch came on the radio today, Joe Starkey and Ron Cook show. He talked about how it's a bigger deal than you think. Receivers coming, Stallworth and Swan used to get fight to get Bradshaw's coffee so they would get more passes. So this goes way back, receivers being divas to a degree. And it's not just Pittsburgh, it's everywhere. Yeah. But Charlie Batch was talking about how he when he was a backup, he would go up to Ben and say, hey, so-and-so hasn't gotten a pass today. And Ben would say, really? And they go, next series, they would throw him a wide receiver screen just to placate him. And Batch said, this happens all the time. Yeah. You'd be surprised at what's not reported, he said.
Right. But what's interesting, though, I want to go back to play from the Thursday night contest last week. And, there's a podcast with Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson of Bengals fame, and Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp referred to Pickens' feet as lazy on that touchdown catch that was overruled, that he had more than enough time to get his foot down.
Well, we all know that. We all know that. I don't know if he was lazy. He just thought he was in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I saw it. I don't know that he's lazy because he can toe tap. He gets it down. He does a good job with that.
Yeah.
Be careful with the lazy stuff. Chad Ochocinco is another diva. So, and the Sharp boys, man, they wanted the damn ball too.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting. And,
let me interject, Jeremy. I think that might have been part of Pickens' problem. Disappointment in himself for not getting that touchdown.
Yeah.
And, that you have your own issues that can manifest into issues with other people. So that was probably at the core of it all, him not scoring that touchdown.
And that's what I was going to get to, is that, following that play, he didn't get his feet down, that he's on the sideline, pissed at himself that, hey, I could have made this play. I didn't. But we are seeing a little bit of heat come out of that, a little bit of blowback, but it was addressed today in Tomlin's press conference. Let's hope it's a non-issue moving forward. But then probably something that's more important related to the game of football, actually, is the fact that Broderick Jones, after a solid performance, is only listed as a co-starter at the tackle position, right tackle position. It doesn't make sense, Jim.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in the way that they don't want to throw Chooks away. They're doing the same thing they did with Joey Porter over at corner over Levi Wallace. It's obvious that he should start, but one more week, let's make sure it wasn't a mirage. And Tomlin went out of his way, I thought, emphasizing that Chooks was benched for acting out in the Jacksonville game. He may have read my column where I said that's just an excuse a coach needed to put the better player in finally. But he says, no, there was a legitimate reason why he benched Chooks. Now, if he's just saying that, whatever, I can't call him a liar. I don't know, but that's what he said today. So Broderick's I would have to think he's going to start just like Joey Porter did, even though they wouldn't give Joey Porter the official nod. He did get the start and then got the nod. And so maybe the same will happen with Broderick Jones.
Yeah. And let's dig a little bit into Jones's performance. Best rushing output that we've had all season. And we saw maybe a little bit more of a balanced attack from Najee Harris and Jalen Warren splitting carries. Both performed very well. Can you attribute this uptick in performance exclusively to Jones being in there? Or do you think that this is a combination of factors?
Well, I talked to Isaac Ciamolo. He said it was good play calling by Matt Canada. So, of course, what does that leave you to believe? That other games wasn't so good play calling by Matt Canada. So it was good play calling by Matt Canada. Good putting people where they need to be put. And he praised Darnell Washington. So we did a lot of stuff at the point of attack with Darnell Washington, and he came through. And on some of those replays I was watching today, Darnell did a great job blocking. Mm-hmm. And Isaac also said that they have to develop him as a passing threat so that when he comes in the game, everyone doesn't know it's a run. So it can keep teams off balance once he gets to be more of a receiving threat. So that was interesting. And Broderick Jones, I thought, was a factor. And Ciamolo played well. Dan Moore played well. Now, as for this, the use of the backs, somebody did a great post on the message board that Jaylen Warren, if he had gotten all of Najee's carries, would have had 240 some yards at his average. I think he averaged like 8 yards a carry or something. And that's my point. Give Jaylen the ball. Stop this. Well, we've got to do this. We've got to give the ball to the slow guy every now and then to make the defenses honest. Honest in what way? So anyway, you do need two backs.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be splitting. I think there's one back who should be getting the majority of the snaps. Yeah. I think I think everyone knows by now who that back is.
You've been very vocal about that since the start of the season. You can go back and check the tape on that if you want to replay. But Jim, I think there's an overlooked component here in the improvement of that running game. It's something that I mentioned before we jumped on here, and that's Matt Canada on the sidelines. So Sayamalu said, good play calling.
That was had everything to do with it. Everything. I don't even know where else to go with that. I don't know why I wasted time talking about Sayamalu and Washington and Jaylen Warren. It was all Matt Canada moving down to the sideline.
He had
a better impact. He could get closer to the players and give you that Matt Canada personality. It's energizing.
Yeah. I was energized for sure. I wanted to make sure I got that in there. A couple other things that wanted to discuss here today. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about Joey Porter Jr. and his performance on Thursday night. He had stated that he wanted to cover Hopkins in this game. He wanted to have him one-on-one. Some interesting stuff came out today at the press conference about that.
Well, yeah, it was good. It was interesting, Jeremy. Tomlin said, we don't listen to just because he wanted to play him didn't mean we said, okay, we looked at a bunch of other factors. And one of the factors was his poor tackling. He didn't say that. He said, Tennessee runs away from Hopkins and they screen away from Hopkins. So if Porter's covering Hopkins, that's less run game. That's less Derrick Henry he has to do.
Yeah.
And even though he's a big corner, he's a physical corner, he needs to be a better tackler. I assumed that was all media baloney, but I was wrong. He has problems tackling. And so I assume it's about hard work because he's not light like Deion Sanders. He's not a flyweight cover guy.
Yeah.
So at least Derrick Henry, 250 pounds of Derrick Henry coming around the corner at Little Porter.
Yeah.
But Casey has no problem sticking his nose in there. I tell you that.
He doesn't. I know I would not want to tackle Henry. That dude is a beast. And once he gets an open field or just gets a little bit of space, I can't imagine what's going through a DB's mind, even a linebacker's mind, knowing that you got to tackle that guy because it just looks painful.
Speaking of linebackers, what do you think of the new linebackers?
Well, good segue there. So Cole Holcomb, pretty devastating injury. Sad to see him go out like that, especially when he started playing well. Maybe the best game from the inside linebacker unit, really just run defense. Cam Hayward's back, obviously. But now with Holcomb out, how are they going to replace him?
Well, they got Quan. Quan made the defensive play of the game. Quan Alexander can cover. Cole Holcomb was the green dot guy. He was the play caller. He'd get the play from the sideline because he was going to be on the field 3 downs. Now, Landon Roberts has more experience with the Steelers defense, has been here longer than Quan, who was picked up in training camp. And, Landon Roberts, I have no doubt that he has a great understanding and is a great leader and would be a great guy running the huddle. But he can't be guaranteed to be out there all 3 downs. So I'm assuming the green dot goes to Quan because Quan is a better coverage linebacker and therefore would be on the field all 3 downs.
Mm-hmm.
But, these two guys, you got to love them. Cole Holcomb was playing very well, and you like the three guys, the freshness. But man, now it's like Tomlin said today, it's a traditional setup, and they're ready to go with that. He kind of said, so it's not a big loss. I felt bad for Holcomb. He's probably watching the press conference saying, come on, coach.
Yeah.
But and you also have Keanu Neal playing the inside linebacker on the dime as he has all year.
Does it open the door at all for Mark Robinson?
And it'll open the door for Mark Robinson to get some of those reps to rest people every now and then. He'll get more playing time.
Yeah.
And then what he does with it will determine how much more playing time he gets.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's definitely something I'll be watching this Sunday against the Packers, which brings us to the Packers, the last of 3 consecutive home games before they start an important road stretch, going to Cleveland and then to Cincinnati. But what are you looking for this weekend against Green Bay? I mean, they're 5-3. I don't know how they're finding a way to get it done. But are you seeing signs that this team is turning the corner, that they're getting better, they're improving?
The run game for one, the run defense for two. Joey Porter Jr. is going to help those sagging secondary numbers. That needs, and when Minka comes back, there was no clarity today, but all Tomlin said was he's improving. They're going to watch and see how it works this week, how he works this week, if he works at all. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't sound real promising, but I think things are coming around. And with DJ back, Pickens is opening him up, and if they start covering DJ, then Pickens can get his feet down, get a touchdown, and be happy.
There we go.
And give some hearts on Facebook. Go around to the writers and give hearts, love, right? We all need some of that.
I'm going to make sure I do that once I get off here. I'm going to go.
You got to build your relationships up, man, and watch who you follow, and watch those other girls that you're giving likes to.
Gotcha. See,
my daughter told me it's a real thing.
You're dropping some wisdom out there. Something that just came to me, Jim, real fast before I forget. Freiermuth. I can't even pronounce his name. Any update on his status, where he's at?
No, he's on IR, so he has to miss at least 4 games. I think he's missed 2.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow there, your social media flow.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm talking about Facebook. How can you interrupt a man talking about Facebook?
I don't know. You're on a roll there, but I had to get that update there on mute.
Facebook is a quagmire, man.
You know what?
The kids don't go on Facebook.
Yeah. When I was a principal, I never did anything with social media. And then once I stopped and kind of entered the world that I'm in now, I started getting more involved in it. And I was telling a buddy of mine today, I'm like, I don't think social media has made my life better.
No.
It really hasn't. So it hasn't.
No. But you know what I'm going to do as soon as we hang up here? I'm going to check my Facebook, see if I got any likes.
Well, you'll see one for me because I'm gonna give you some. But anything else before we wrap up today, Jim?
Yeah, my ex-wife told me today that I need to color my beard. What do you think? Maybe people can drop some comments. I've never even thought about coloring hair, beards, anything like that. I think, isn't that like, unmanly? Weak?
Good. It's seasoned. It's you're a hardy veteran.
Well, she was looking at it more from me, maybe you'll get a date if you color your beard. I think that's how she was looking at it. You're not looking at it like that. You're looking for the sage wisdom of football talk.
Well, that's what we get when we come to the Steel City Insider. That's what we get.
So you say no to the hair coloring?
Nah, you be true to the natural Jim Wexel.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Authentic. Somebody called me authentic in the comments. It was the greatest compliment I ever had.
I can attest you are authentic.
Sometimes to my own detriment. Oft times to my own detriment.
And with that,
I'm talking too much. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm holding you up, aren't I?
Hey, you're not holding us up. You're doing your thing. I'm just bringing it home here. That's going to do it. Episode 83. Jim, I know you're working on a book right now, but that's further down the line.
Yeah, go buy the Pull 'em All book, $20. I was at the wedding, okay, and family. This was Mark Giuliano, my brother-in-law. He used to be the deputy director under James Comey. I don't know how someone in my family. So I have a great sister. He married my sister, and he's from Cleveland, and he has a brother who's a Steelers fan. He has a brother who's a Cowboys fan, and you can understand why they might not be Browns fans. But Mark is a diehard Browns fan. But his brother, who reads the Steeler books, told me, "Oh, you're the guy that writes the books. Judy's my sister. Judy sends me all your books. What was that one where you took the road trip? I really like that one." I said, Steeler Nation. He goes, "Man, I love that one. That was so good." He goes, "And there's another one." I go, "The draft book, On the Clock." He goes, "I can't remember." He goes, "But I'll tell you this, and I don't mean to embarrass you. There's another guy that wrote a book that I really like best of all. It's called Polamalu." That was another great compliment, though, because he wasn't trying to butter me up, obviously. Yeah. He was telling me somebody else wrote this. I said, "Dude, that's mine."
Yeah.
He's, "Oh, I love that book." So anyway,
paperback now, right?
It's in paperback. It's in stores. It's on Amazon. You can't get the hardcover on Amazon. Get the hardcover from jimwexel.com at $20.
Yeah.
It's reduced. It's a $32 book reduced. And you can get my other books there too. So, and Steel City Insiders, it's a subscription site. We do a lot of good work there. And we grind every day Steeler coverage.
And that's where you're going to find authentic Pittsburgh Steelers journalism. There you go.
Well, I'll tell you, you want to read about my drinking problem when I was younger, there's some authentic stuff in yesterday's George Pickens column. So, yeah, okay. There's the authentic Jim. So, hey, whatever that leads me to.
I'm gonna check that out after I give you a heart on So give Jim a follow on Twitter at Jim Wexel. Give me a follow at Still Study, and we will see you back here next week for episode number 84 of the Still City Insider podcast. Take care, everyone.
See you, Jeremy.